I was a teenage werewolf. Look at me now. All grown up. And you notice, the night of the full moon, I did shave. So nobody would be able to, get too worried. You don't want to scare everybody off of a wedding ceremony. I didn't perform. Oh, you got some on your leg, baby. There. That's in case you... Yeah, nothing. Nothing. How you doing, baby?
I'm good.
Good. We just saw a thing. I saw it earlier, and then we just watched it together. And I don't know when the news came out, probably yesterday, but I saw it today, that scientists have discovered or decided, whichever it works better for the story, that the universe is shaped like a donut. Really, they showed a computer image of, bioluminescent, little blue light in a dark place. Like the shape of the universe is like a donut. And first, when I saw it, I thought, didn't we already know that? And I realized, I guess I couldn't have known it, because then I would have a memory of a joke in my head that I'm about to make about it, It would have been the first thing crossed my mind. It wouldn't be a new thought to me. So I guess somehow I knew that but I never heard anybody else say it. It just feels like I know that it was... just feels natural to me. And you know what this does? This is the saving grace of flat earthers. Is that what you call them? Flat earth people?
I think so.
Flat earth. This is their salvation. This makes it all possible for the world to be flat. Because if the universe really is shaped like a donut, you're getting like a brain when the crevasses are pressed together more. When you got a little head, remember that I got a little head. Well, that way nobody will know that I pissed myself. Oh, yes, she's supposed to.
This is the running out of gas thing again, isn't it?
So, yeah. But, yeah, it makes it possible, the flat earth theory. Because if it really is shaped like that donut part and all those, meninges and all that stuff, it's energy coming out of everywhere, and it's just it supports better the idea of wormholes. I mean, what are we going to keep chasing after the same final place on the other side of that donut every epic millennium? Just life of a universe? Are you finally gonna catch up to it? No, because we're going around this damn thing. You got to be able to get through to other parts of it. And so you've got like tube worms. What is that? Wormholes. Tube worms are the ones they say came from Mars. They are in the bottom of the ocean, and they consume methane. They're like the only known thing that does, and they're down there at the where the volcanoes down there are erupting constantly, and they live around there. They're like 6 feet long, big orange, beautiful worm, but they surmise that it came from some sort of solar storm, blew from Mars down to here, even possibly having it sent on purpose, because it shares all this DNA and the blueprints for we don't even know how much storage our DNA has. We are all connected to everything. We could be somebody else and living a different life form. We're all connected. So they say maybe, and they're down there, and they are a big part of life, the way it is on Earth. It's premised. But the thing is, wormholes to get to different places of the universal donut. And with wormholes,
I'll be right there. I'll be right there.
she's writing my manifesto. She needs to know the correct bond of paper. I've got like 7 different bonds for different things I do, you know.
Oh, sweet.
And
You don't want
so-
the kind that smears.
no, this stuff is going to be able to go in a frame one day and sold. I could probably get $30 for it on Amazon. So you got the wormholes at work getting you around this circular, this just really, you could almost say it's ubiquitous. It sees all of itself. It probably even spins on some sort of rotation as it goes. And what that means is that you could have a flat Earth and go through one of these wormholes without knowing how we're doing it. We haven't figured that part of it out in science yet. They haven't. When they say it, I'll say, didn't we already know that? But yeah, it could be possible that the Earth is flat. I don't believe it for a minute. You know, there's got to be more to that.
Don't encourage them.
I'm just saying, you know, there's your in. There's your in.
Yeah. It's a theory.
It almost sounds credible.
It does.
All you'd
especially
have
with
to
you
do is
saying
get
it.
somebody like me saying that.
Like you
Hell,
saying.
put it on the news. I always said, you know, I never wanted anybody to see me, but if this, I was always been very secretive, and because I know what it's like to be attacked by a mob of school children in China when they see a 6-foot-tall white man like me, and they attack, and they're tearing at hair and clothes, and they're trampling each other. I'm like, and they canceled school that day. We went to a different place out in the wilderness, you know, for this little school. And these people, they said, no, they said, get them out of here. They're tearing at me. I'm going, wow. I don't want anybody recognizing me. That's, you know, that's something, there is a real thing to what these people think are your Hollywood friends are feeling when you come at them like that. That's really something. The one woman couldn't do it anymore when they make us do it in the streets around just Zhengzhou. She couldn't do it anymore. She felt like she was about to be raped constantly. So, what I'm saying is I didn't want to be looked at. But when I started looking at this stuff, I said, you know what? If you're going to be remembered as something, why not? This is not a bad image for me. I think it works quite well. I couldn't be anybody else. Of course, when people would hear me on the radio, I was either a squat, fat, long, greasy-haired guy with a goatee, or I was an little old man. Either one of those images went through their minds as they thought of what I would look like at the bar. That I got that comment. It was a little old man too, and I was only, you know, late
30s,
20s,
right?
early 30, 31 at the latest, I think. But I just think it's because nobody believes my stories if I tell them how old I am. So today, July 27th, we find out that the Earth can be flat. The possibility of it just went up a little bit. More than the possibility ever has. But, yeah. An iota makes it more potent now than it's ever been. An iota of belief, of possibility.
So my question is, when you get to like the edge, do they have like one of those sharp curve signs as you're going around the other side? Is it like a
It may
25 mile an hour
It may be
recommended speed zone?
that the Earth itself is that guy, the rapture tester at work, when he said, "Oh, when the rapture comes," he says, "When the rapture comes, it'll be," because I said, well, what I want to know, because he said a couple things about it already. I said, what I want to know is what I like about it. That's what it was. What I like about it is that they say the meek shall inherit the earth, and that's great because it'll be easy to take it from them. And he's like, "Oh," he says, and I said, "No, really, where's everybody go?" And he said, it's a transformation. I said, "Like planes of existence?" And he's like, "Well, yes." I said, "Huh." So maybe we on this flat earth are really seeing things quite slowly. And we are having memories moving across this flat earth. And it'll change from time to time, but then somewhere in our old age, if we've traveled far enough, we go over the edge. And that is our transformation. It could be that. You'd have to look into it. I haven't. I didn't know I had an answer to that question. That's what it's about, to be in synchronicity, baby. That's Jung's timeline. You can stretch yourself out according to him, and you can see all along your timeline. Everything is already, it's like a rubber band, I guess. You're only going through, but everything's been done already. Your memories, everything. He seemed to believe that, and it's hard to get your mind around the way he says it. I understood it once, and I can't remember how to understand it again, but I know that I understood it in a way that was right, and that's just enough for me to say, yeah, there's something to it. And so already somewhere in the future, I had come up with the flat earth death plan, and I just didn't know it. It comes right out like that. And I'm all over in here. You want to call me crazy? Take a look around. I don't think you call me crazy. Don't worry. That's like inferiority or something, but it's funny. I know that I've had people get up out of a fucking auditorium and say to their friend as they walked out, and their friend tells me later, he just got up and said, "I just can't stand the sound of that guy's voice," and he left. I have effects on people.
Sounds of people's voices have affected me enough to motivate me.
Yeah. The rapture tester today, he was there with me. He was the one opening the door. And when we hung up immediately, he said, "She's got a nice voice." I mean, I was like this close to him while we were getting off the phone. We were talking. I mean, just going, this is
me?
like my personal space.
Oh.
Yeah, it's funny. He got to meet you.
Oh.
Likes your voice. He also seems very religious, which means he not only watches, but calls a lot of porn lines too. So he's really probably, drawn to a voice. He can make the rest up from there. What's she gonna look like tonight? This is just what I hear about people that are into the rapture. I don't know.
Right.
Oh, July 27th. Here it is. That's the day. It's the day we found out. Flat Earth Death Plan. But I'm just trying to remember that because it's going to be the title. I had to say it twice. I didn't know it until I said it. See, I'm not supposed to let in all my secrets. There's a lot of thought and work that goes into this stuff. July 27th. And this is the day, 30 years ago, that I would have been able to see Whitesnake in concert at Castle Farms.
I saw them.
I was in basic training.
What year was it? 87?
87.
Yeah, I was there.
I
was there.
30 years ago
I
today.
still got the t-shirts at my dad's somewhere, I'm sure.
Yeah, I would have gone to that show because when Mike Dutcher, he doesn't mind, we were joining the military. They didn't even put us in the same post, so we weren't in close proximity. He didn't get infected by me or anything. He was surprised at some of the stories I'd bring home. Acted like people didn't do that sort of thing. I'm like, what kind of unit you in? But yeah. So he was there with Jerry Anderson and me. We were leaving, going to the same basic training place. Ended up in different platoons. We'd see each other every once in a while and just kind of grin and nod. And he was there because we were going at the same time when we were leaving to go in. And Mike Dutcher had his Walkman with him, and he had the tape by Whitesnake, whichever one it was. Here I go again on my own, on down the road I've always known.
So 80s.
But I was like, I like that song when he played Let Me Listen to That. I was like, it was my brand of rock at the time. That was a very good, and first thing we did, so I missed the concert, but the first chance we had when they let us buy stuff at the PX for ourselves other than soap and toothpaste, things like that, Kiwi, I bought a Walkman and I bought 3 tapes. I bought Def Leppard's Hysteria.
I saw them too. Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was a really shitty album when I listened to it there in Basic.
They were the first.
They had Pour Some Sugar on me, but
they were the first band to sell out at Castle Farms. 17,000 people.
They did quite well.
The first band.
I thought it was a crappy album though, and so that's one of them I got. And later on, it was in the back window of my car in North Carolina, and it melted and scorched. And I looked and I said, "Oh, that's no loss." And I threw it away. Never replaced it. I never even had an inkling. But then there was another one I bought, and then I can't even remember right offhand. Oh, Great White. It was Great White, and that was a decent album. That's
in concert too, I think. Yeah,
smooth listening.
We saw everybody.
Once bitten, twice shy.
It didn't matter who was playing. It's not that I'm big.
It was a party up at Castle Farms.
Yeah, it didn't matter who was. I saw Tina Turner,
not just
Kenny
your
Loggins,
local community, everybody.
Ozzy
I saw the Beach Boys. We saw Ozzy at the same time, and I was so screwed up.
I don't know.
Wasn't
you
with her.
name it. I don't know. All of them.
I saw
them all.
I saw Chicago. Phil Inman and I drove over there and saw Chicago on the 4th of July. And I was like, it's just such a cool idea, you know, that on the 4th of July, their song, and it was on Saturday, I think it was the 4th of July, in the park. I think it was the 4th of July, and it was. And we figured it would be a big show. And we went in there, and it was like watching a scene out of The Walking Dead before the fucking Walking Dead don't realize you're there. It's just a empty space with people just walking around. And I said, nobody came for this.
Wow.
That has got to be the biggest letdown for a band. Their best known hit and people decided to go watch the fireworks instead of changing the night. They could have come and seen Chicago. And we left. Drove all the way to Charlevoix for that, but we did get to pass an old woman on the right side of the road in the dirt with gravel flying everywhere. I won't say we, outside of the fact that he really enjoyed it. It was me. So yeah, we have good times. And see, that's the thing about Phil and me, is that I was afraid to be his friend when I first met him. Oh boy, I heard stories and I see him almost fight once. Maybe he did fight at the county fair. Yeah, it was dark. He did fight. And just quick word. So he and I became friends by mistake. But against my better judgment. And through it all, the trouble that he used to get in, he had a big police background.
Did he?
Yeah. His dad was the principal of Wolverine High School. Wolverine
I don't
School.
think I knew that.
Yeah.
Why do you go to Gaylord?
Because it's probably a nicer place to live. I mean, more things, you know.
That's why I got sent to Gaylord. That's why I wasn't an Alva Wildcat.
So yeah, he didn't get in as much trouble. He didn't. We never once got in trouble. Once he was with me in the van when we got pulled over by Officer Smith, but we got off, which is highly unlikely. But yep, he didn't get in any more trouble, and I didn't get in trouble, but I became a little bit darker. Some of the things we did. Why didn't we get in trouble? Because we didn't get caught. And I kept him out of trouble. We were dropping, what do you call it? Yeah, statute of limitations. I know nobody died.
Okay.
We would, after work at the pizza place,
Yeah.
we'd get out of there like 2:30 in the morning. All the parties were over and everything already. And we weren't old enough. We were just high schoolers. And so we'd clean up afterwards when the place shut down. And we'd drink a lot of soda in that time. And then we'd go, when we left, to 7-Eleven and buy a big gulp each. And on the drive out to the overpass north of town, I don't want to say the road because north of town can reach as far as 50 miles. So, yeah, we go out to that one overpass and we'd have drunk all the big gulp by then, and then we'd pee in the empty big gulp cup. And this is something he introduced to me. And one of us would stand when oncoming traffic was coming. It's few and far between at 2:30 in the morning on I-75 north of Gaylord. But the car would be coming. One of us would be on one side where the car's coming, and the other one on the other side where the car's coming out from on the underpass. The guy on that side can't see down for the timing because he can't see the car. So the guy on the side that it's coming at first, here it comes, and he calls the bombing drop. And you drop that, and one of us got one at least once. I was trying to play. I got one once, and the car said, and I was like, oh shit. And then it was okay and kept driving. It was like, what the fuck was that? There's this big... Somebody dropped a big gulp on me. And, get out of the car. This shit. And called it the bombing range. He introduced me to that. And I know he hit him too. I know that at least once I did. It's a very non-scientific art. It's about getting to know how each other are working. When do you mean now? And can I trust your judgment? Yeah. So July 27th. Oh, we're just talking about whatever it was. All I'm saying, yeah. And with that tape, I listen to that all the time, Whitesnake. And when I was on the bus from Fort Knox to Fort Benning on the Greyhound, I listened to it the whole way. I knew that the whole damn tape. It was, I liked the whole tape very much. It's a fine piece of art in its field. It's July 27th. I would have been a Whitesnake, but I did my best to keep near them anyway. It could have even been on the 27th that they let us buy something, because that's early. That's only 2 weeks after being in. You don't know why? Oh.
I have all the concert tickets on my desk.
Well, so I guess, I really did get through everything that I forgot. And I just want to say July 27th, we find out there's a further possibility of flat earth. And there was something else, sometimes you do have to become friends with people, become close to people that you always found just a little bit frightening.
Right.
And
that's where the fun is.
Keep them out of a little trouble, and well, really all you got to do is be good at getting out of trouble. It takes a guy like that to keep a guy out of jail. Sometimes it takes a team. Phil and Rich, dynamic pizza guys. And that's it, right? Well, whatever it is. The Flat Earth Death Plan. You can look that up on my Judas Life Coach playlist. Bye, baby.
Bye.